like my women like I like my eggs Benedict, fertilized.
I like my men the way I like my eggs Benedict on Sunday morning.
I like my men like I like my eggs Benedict on the breakfast buffet at a nice restaurant.
I like my women like I like my eggs Benedict, warmed by someone else.
Like my women like I like my eggs Benedict, covered in gravy.
Going once, going twice, moving on to cement.
I like my men the way I like my cement. What? Hard.
I like my women like I like my cement, 300 pounds per square inch.
I like my man like I like my cement, full of semen.
I like my men the way I like my cement on a construction site.
I like my women like I like my cement, easily mixed up.
Going once, going twice.
I like my men like I like my cement. The more I use them, the harder they get.
I like my women like I like my cement, laid by all my friends.
Moving on to horse.
I like my men the way I like my horse.
I like my men the way I like my horse, used by Catherine the Great. If you don't get that one, you don't have much of an education.
Stop yelling at the audience. I like my women like I like my horse, with a silky mane.
Like my men like I like my horse, bareback. No?
I like my women like I like my horses, thoroughbred.
I like my men like I like my horse. They can run and run and run.
I like my men the way I like my horse, with a pair of boots and a riding crop.
Like my women like I like my horse, chasing my carrot.
I like my men like I like my horse. Put out the stud.
I like my women like I like my horses, Minnie.
Going once, going twice.
I like my men like I like my horse, performing in the circus.
I like my men the way I like my horse, trained.
Going twice.
Like my women like I like my horses in a heavy petting zoo.
Moving on. Go ahead.
I
Go
like
ahead.
my women the way I like my horses, bucking.
Moving on to noodles.
I like my men the way I like my noodles, Asian.
Going once.
I like my women like I like my noodles. When they stick to the wall, they're done.
I think we're moving on. All right. Garbage truck.
I like my men the way I like my garbage truck, picking me up.
I like my women like I like my garbage truck. Like I like my garbage trucks, filled with the neighbor's trash.
Going once.
I like my men the way I like my garbage trucks, underpaid by the city.
Like my women like I like my garbage trucks, with 2 extra guys hanging off the back.
Moving on to cauliflower.
I like my men like I like my cauliflower, covered with cheese sauce.
I like my men the way I like my cauliflower in the produce department at Harris T.U.
Going once.
I like my men like I like my cauliflower, raw.
Going twice.
Like my men like I like my cauliflower, it's a head. I mean,
I like my women like I like my cauliflower, organic.
I like my men the way I like my cauliflower, tossing salad.
Moving on to cat.
I like my women like I like my cats, shaved.
perilous.
I like my men the way I like my cat, Siberian.
I like my pussy. I'm just saying. Going once.
I like my men like I like my cat, Siamese.
I like my women like I like my cats, forced to go to the bathroom in a box.
I like my men the way I like my cats, gagging on my hairball.
Like my women like I like my cats, declawed.
Oh.
I like my men the way I like my cats in an alley.
I like my men the way I like my cat. Waiting in the house, never going out, just waiting for me to come home. And he's so happy to see me.
Moving on to bathrobe.
I like my women like I like my bathrobes, stolen out of a hotel.
I like my men the way I like my bathrobe, hanging on the back of the door.
I like my men like I like my bathrobe. Cuddly.
I like my women like I like my bathrobes, all wrapped up in me.
I like my women like I like my bathrobes, all over me after I've taken a shower. Going once.
I like my men like I like my bathrobe with a nice belt.
I like my women like I like my bathrobes, with a high fiber count.
I like my men the way I like my bathrobes, absorbent.
Like my women like I like my bathrooms, taking a tumble with me in the dryer.
Moving on to Q-tip.
I like my men the way I like my Q-tip in my ear.
I like my women like, oh no. I like my men like I like my Q-tips. Obvious choking hazard.
I like my men the way I like my men the way I like my Q-tips. Johnson and Johnson.
And last but certainly not least, ice cream.
I like my men the way I like my ice cream, running down my hand.
I like my men like I like my ice cream in my mouth.
I like my women like I like my ice cream, shared with my dog.
I like my men like I like my ice cream, by the gallon.
I like my men like I like my ice cream. This flavor, and this flavor.
Going once.
I like my men like I like my ice cream, with large nuts.
I like my men like I like my ice cream. Ben and Jerry.
Okay.
I like my women the way I like my ice cream, frigid.
Going once.
I like my women like I like my ice cream, fat-free.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the game. That's the end of the show.